Good afternoon, good evening, good whatever time of the day it is you're listening to this podcast. It is all about comedy and other random stuff from Reddit and the daily life of the stand-up comedian Lovdev Barpagas. The podcast is called A Crazy Little Thing Called Lovdev, and you already know that because you're listening to it. It is episode 161. Known for hitting cyclists. This could be the shortest or longest podcast episode that I'm ever going to record. Why do you say that, Lovdev, when we already know how long the episode is from just looking at whatever we're playing it on? Well, this is me pre-recording it and me not knowing how long it's going to last. The reason I say that is because today I am extremely busy. I've been working all this week, doing my usual stuff. I haven't had any gigs. Did a couple of gigs last week and they were good fun. But the reason I'm saying that is because today I have a stag do. A stag do that starts early. When I say early, it's already started. It's a fellow comedian friend of mine who is getting married in a couple of weeks, and today is his stag do. I wasn't going to be there that early because today I had first aid training. I'm officially updated on my training, which went fine. I always think I know the answers when I do training. Today they showed me something very new and I've never seen it before. I was quite grossed out about it, to be honest. I know it was a demonstration, but it still freaked me out. So the demonstrator showed us a couple of packets of stuff that we can use when applying a bandage or an EpiPen. That's if someone's having a reaction. But this thing they showed me, I was like, I wanted to, I was ready to vomit. Probably because I was picturing it in my head. So it's a bandage you can get. If, say, someone has a stab wound or they have a hole puncture on their body, there's this bandage that is available now where you just literally feed the bandage into the wound. And all I could picture was like someone being shot and this person putting their finger in this hole and shoving this bandage in. It's kind of like, I don't know how to describe it, to be honest. Looked like she was cooking something. Putting it into the hole. I mean, I'm doing it now. I've got my right hand in like a little circle, and I'm using one of my fingers to push the bandage in, and it does look naughty. I will be honest. It looks very, very naughty. But I wasn't picturing naughty when I was watching this. So what this bandage does, it expands into the wound and stops the bleeding, which is like magic, innit? So I've never seen that, and I was like, wow, I've never seen that before. But apart from that, the rest of the training went well. I was confident. I was like, yep, I'll go first. Yep, I'll do this. Yep, I'll do it. I just wanted to get out of there. Takes, 3 hours training, first aid. I could have done it in half an hour, I'll be honest. I wish it was just me in the training room. You always get that one person, no matter what training it is, right? They will ask questions. Everybody knows the answer to it already. This person doesn't know. Then when it comes to the practical stuff, they're not doing it properly. We had a scenario to do, right? So the one I had was basically the person was diabetic and they needed glucose. So I passed that. The person that kept talking must have took them about half an hour to get through the scenario. We were trying to help them, going, yeah, you know, the reps, the levels are low. Was trying to give them hints. They still couldn't get it. There's always that one, isn't there? Every place of work has that one person. You all know who it is. If you don't know who it is, it's you. That's what I'm trying to say. So that took on the training. Anyway, that was fine. So yes, I've done that. And then obviously, as I said today, got a stag do during the day. Hopefully, no one's going to collapse during the stag do. If they do, I am there to help. I am fully qualified, trained, first aid responder, whatever you want to call them. Let's just hope one of the lads doesn't choke on a peanut. That's what I'm basically saying. So yeah, I thought, let me do this because today is the only day I'm going to get it done. Tomorrow, I've got loads of other stuff to do, but I will tell you all about that in a minute. Some of you probably know what it is anyway. But, I should quickly mention, I am doing a show. Have I already mentioned this? I am doing the Rik Mayall Comedy Festival. Officially finalised, which is great. And yeah, so I will be there doing the Rik Mayall Comedy Festival in Droitwich. You're probably wondering, where is it? Droitwich. My show is on the 6th of June, which is a Friday. Starts at 8:30, finishes at 9:30. My half talk show is going to be there. There's only 30 seats. It's free entry. If you fancy coming along to it, go to the Rik Mayall Comedy Festival website. Google it. You'll find it. Scroll down. You'll see my name. Book your tickets. And if you are a fan of this, and I know there's a few of you who have seen me before, hopefully this will be nice. I'll have a full room. It'll be more energy in the room, and I'll have a lot of fun. And so will you. I just want to take this show on to tour. That's what I need to do. Pull my finger out and do it. Anyway, talking about pulling your finger out, how about we do
Oh, that's interesting.
Oh, that's interesting. What is today's interesting fact? Yeah, I don't know what to call it. Yeah, it's interesting. Hopefully it is. I don't know if it is. Is it? Who knows? God knows. Does anyone remember in 2008 there was a Chinese milk scandal? Some of you probably thinking, was there? Yes, there was. So anyway, this is the interesting fact. This is just to memorize all of you. In case you end up doing a, I don't know, going on Tipping Point or The Chase, you'll know the answer to this, to this question. Right, 2008, Chinese milk scandal. It was a significant food safety incident where dairy products, particularly infant formula, which was produced by the Sanlu Group, were adulterated with melamine. Melamine? Melamine. Whatever it is. It's a chemical used to falsely elevate protein content readings. This contamination led to severe health issues, including kidney stones and other kidney damage. It affected approximately around 300,000 children. And there was 54,000 hospitalizations and 6 reported infant deaths, which is absolute tragic. The issue was first surfaced in December 2007 when Sanlu, the company, it's not somebody named Sanlu, received complaints about kidney stones in infants consuming their products. Despite the internal awareness, a public recall was delayed until September 2008, partially due to attempts to suppress the information during the Beijing Olympics. Subsequent investigations revealed that products from 21 other companies were also tainted, including those from major brands like Minigu, Yili, and Yashili, which are Chinese companies. The scandal exposed significant lapses in food safety and regularity oversight in China, leading to an international condemnation and import bans on Chinese dairy products by at least 11 countries. The Chinese government responded with legal actions, resulting in 2 executions, severe life imprisonment, and the dismissal of numerous officials. The incident prompted a re-evaluation of food safety practices and regulations within China. I didn't think that China had any regulations at all. Do they? I reckon a lot of it is looked over the shoulder, isn't it? Or turned a blind eye. That's the wording. I bet a lot of that happens in China. That was today's.
Oh, that's interesting.
I tell you what else is interesting. I just thought of it. Like, I was thinking, what can I tell these lot, man? I mean, they must get bored of my podcasts. What can I tell them? I almost killed a child. Yeah, I don't mean like physically, like got hold of them by the throat and started choking them. Like, I almost killed a child. I was on my way to work, basically, right? I was driving. And I was turning onto this road which leads on to where I work, right? And there's a traffic lights there. And it was my right of way to go left, so I turned left. And I seen this kid on the bike. Luckily, I looked at him and I thought, he's not going to look. Is he going to look? He's not going to look. Is he going to? No, he's not. He literally comes straight out in front of me. And it's a good thing I slowed down because I'll be honest, guys, I had no faith in this kid. You know when you see something and you quickly observe it? He's on a mountain bike. He's heading to school. He's got his school uniform on. Also, he was wearing headphones whilst cycling. That indication to me was a major danger. I'll be honest, I probably was about, at a guess, 6 inches away from hitting him. I knew if I was going a little bit faster, he would have went straight over my car. I would have had damage on my car. I would have had to call the police. I would have had to ring work and tell them that I've been in an accident. I'm really sorry. And yes, it would have been an absolute nightmare. And I know this kid ain't going to have insurance. But in a way, I felt like stopping the car, coming out of the car, and having a swift word with this kid. But he just... honestly, he was... What's the word? Bewildered? I don't even know what the word is. You know when someone's not paying attention? He was in his own little world, basically. He was on cloud nine. Probably was. He's probably got a vape in his car. He looked about 14 years old. And I nearly hit him, man. And that's the last thing I want to do is hit a kid. My worst nightmare of driving is hitting somebody. And I mean, like, you know, someone is not in another car. Someone is on the road. I don't want to hit anybody. Funny enough, I was telling you last time my dad had an accident when I was watching him driving. If you listen to the last episode, you'd know that. He hit a cyclist. So I don't want that family tradition to go down the Barpagas family tree. Oh, they're known for hitting cyclists. That's what everyone's going to say, ain't they? Do you know what I haven't done in a long, long time? Is confessions. I can't remember the last time I read out somebody's confession. I was trying to find the audio music for it and I couldn't. So, why not just do it myself? So here is today's confession, which has been posted up by Sprinkles number 164. I can kind of relate to this confession because I've also done this confession myself. In a way, I actually feel like it's me who's put up this post, although it wasn't me. Because my name isn't Sprinkles, my name's Lovdev 3. I'm a poet and I didn't know it. Here is Sprinkles' confession. I smoke weed and watch movies every night at work. This is his confession. He's getting paid to smoke cannabis and watch films. What type of job has he got? He is an overnight security guard. Now, I have done that job before, and I have done exactly the same thing he is saying. I need to get some more information from this Sprinkles. So he says, for a massive outdoor shopping centre, that's where he works. And my job is literally pointless. The job only exists so they can post those big signs advertising that the shopping centre has armed security in hopes of those signs deterring criminals. If someone actually tries to do anything, all I'm supposed to do is lock myself in the security office and call 911. So he's in the US. The only work I actually do is telling people not to have, not to make love in their cars in the parking lot, which happens way more often than you think. I reckon that's the type of movies he's watching in the night. And the nightly system audit that I have to run. The audit takes 30 minutes to an hour, so for other 7 hours, I just smoke weed and watch movies. You got the best job, man. I know for a fact that my boss doesn't care because he told me he was high on my second day of training. His own boss was high as well. He was even the one who told me I could just watch movies or whatever when it was slow long as I checked the cameras periodically. I can't help but feel a little bit bad, but at the same time, it's not like there's a ton of work that needs to be done. This guy is brilliant. Mate, you are a legend. I don't think you need to confess. You basically confess what you do in your job, which is fine. Your boss knows about it, so you're not really doing a bad thing, are you? I've got my own confession to make. Sprinkles, you ain't alone, man. I've been there. Many moons ago, I used to do security. The weekends only, that's all I did. Night shift. I used to take an 8-ball, whatever you call them in the US. And, that was my enjoyment. So, I've been there, mate. I remember once, I was at work, had my telly on, I was in the office, having fun. And the manager come and he saw everything. He obviously smelt, the stuff. And he went, "Made yourself at home?" I said, "Yeah." I was so high I didn't know how to respond. So that is today's confession by Sprinkles. Absolutely fantastic. And now it's time to do conspiracy theories. Yeah, you can tell. I just want to get this out of the way now. I got the lads waiting for me. They're all waiting for me. They're all in the pub. They're having a drink. I'm not drinking today. I'm a good boy. I'll be on coffee. I think we're going to Weatherspoons. Those of you who are not from the United Kingdom, we have a chain pub called Weatherspoons. They don't play music. That's why I like going in there. There's no football on either. Brilliant. It's just a pub with people in there drinking and eating. So that's where everyone's going to be. I'll be there in a couple of hours and I will be drinking coffee. And the best thing about Weatherspoons is that you can refill your coffee as many times as you want for free. So my drink will be very, very cheap. The rest of them, I've got a feeling when I get there, they're all going to be like proper drunk. I can just see. So let's do conspiracy theories and then I'll end it with a weird news story as we do. Today's conspiracy theory is a very strange one being posted by a spiritual prompt. This is a questionable one. I don't know why I've picked it. I just picked it because of the title. The title is it possible that Prince Andrew had Princess Diana killed? What? Did Prince Andrew kill Princess Diana? What is his theory on this? Let's have a look. It starts with a warning. Warning contains brief mentions of sexual assault. If this is not for you, please look at yourself and read another post. I am going to obviously reword some of the words that I don't say on my podcast because you might have children in your car who listen to this. So let's go. Before I start, I would like to state that I believe the victim is the Epstein case. I would not wish that fate on anybody, and I am thankful to those who spoke up and were so brave despite many who refused to listen. Also, I do not wish to spiral into arguments or anything. I just wanted to see what people thought. This is a throwaway account because I don't think I ever thought of something so bizarre. But what if Prince Andrew had Diana killed? Because of his horrible crimes, including the Epstein case. I was reading the news and I figured there was no way the royal family wouldn't find out, right? Then I questioned it. If they did know, what would they even do? Then it occurred to me that the only royal I can think of who consistently spoke her mind was our beautiful Princess Diana. Then I thought about her death, which was so unclear. To be honest, it may have truly been an accident. The driver displayed signs of intoxication, the paparazzi were rushing them, and they were not wearing seatbelts. I've always been the kind of on the fence about it. But I found it really strange that the paparazzi didn't call an ambulance immediately. I understand that it made their photos famous, but honestly, would you kill the princess for money? I don't know what caused them to take the job. In brackets is put, even if it was a job to start with, and how they knew they would get away. Again, I want to reiterate, I can't even say the word. This was just a fleeting thought. I'm not going to die on this hill. Then I thought, if something horrific happened, like what happened to Mrs. Ghaffari, I don't know what the name is there, who would you want to tell? Personally, I assume I would find speaking to a woman slightly easier. Men and women can do sexual assaults. We also know that in the Epstein case, his partner was an abuser. I am not saying women do not do such horrific things, as we know this does occur. Preferably someone with an influence who could help me, but not someone who would be directly taken down by the crimes, such as related family members. I don't imagine it was a victim who could report it to Diana, but I'm assuming she heard from a word of mouth. There is no doubt in my mind that if she knew, she would not keep quiet. And that is true. Does this actually line up? Let me show you my maths. So this is his maths. Put that name again down. Miss Ghaffari, I don't know who that is, now 38, claimed the Duke, 61, assaulted her 3 occasions when she was 17 years old at the Ghislaine Maxwell's home in London. Brackets, I don't like their use of word claimed, but we are moving on from that. There is photographic evidence. I found this on the BBC website. Article, Prince Andrew settles a US civil sex assault with Virginia's Jaffari, or Jaffrey, whatever her name is. Feel free to follow the link. I'm not going to click on your link, mate. 38, take away 17 equals 21 years. I'm posting this in 25, so that means this happened in 2004. Princess Diana died in 97, which is only a 7-year difference. Note that Andrew committed this crime at the age of 40. I estimate that Miss Jaffari was not his first victim from watching crime documentaries. I understand that crimes of such caliber are not a natural start, but can take years to build up to. I hope he had no other victims, but if he unfortunately did, do you think it's possible? Do you think Princess Diana could have found out? And if she did, do you honestly think she would try to stop him? I don't know, mate. Do you think a man would do such a disgusting and heinous thing would be below ordering the death of someone who was not even blood? Yes, mate. I do believe that somebody can do that because they're not blood related. He don't have any care. He could do that. Do you think he would even flinch if it came to the world learning about his disgusting, deprived crimes? I don't know, man. I mean, yeah, it's just a big scandal, isn't it? I'm going to read one person's thought on this because I don't really have any opinion on that. You guys probably do. Someone has put down, as someone who used to work in emergency medicine, trauma, the thing I always think about when I think about her death is that because she was sitting in the UK driver's side, back seat, with her legs up on the seat and a seatbelt unfastened, so she was perpendicular on the road when her autopsy was done. Her heart was found in the right side of her chest. The physics of the crash caused her heart to dislodge from the left side if she had been sitting forward or wearing a seatbelt, this certainly wouldn't have happened, and it seems much more likely her resuscitation would have been more successful. Her death is fascinating because there are lots of variables like this, to the extent that it seems highly unlikely anyone, certainly not Prince Andrew of all the dolts, could orchestrate something like this. So some people are saying if she sat in a particular way and had a seatbelt on, she probably could have been saved. That is today's conspiracy. There is not a lot for me to mention. I have just basically read somebody's conspiracy theory. That's what I've done, and I can't think of any answers to it, I'm afraid. I do remember working on the day of Princess Diana died. I remember that. I'll never forget that. But, yeah, guys, let's just do a weird news story, and I've got partying to do, mate. I need to get high on caffeine. Yeah, let's end the podcast with today's... Not that. Ignore that. This is what happens when you have sausage fingers. Let's end the story with today's weird news. Drug-addicted rats have taken over a Houston police evidence room after eating seized narcotics. We've got rats who are high. Maybe that's what I should have gave them rats that came into my house. Some narcotics. Or probably not. That just would have made my situation even worse, wouldn't it? I'd be like infested with rats then. An update on the rats in my house. Gone. No rats. I'm rat free. Praise the Lord. So let's find out about these drug-addicted rats, who I believe are based in Houston. These are Houston, America, USA rats. So, for rats in Texas, there are 4 out of 20. What? Houston area rodents have forced police in the area to change the way they operate after developing an addiction to drugs stored in a station locker. We got 400,000 pounds of marijuana in storage, says the Houston Mayor John Whittemire. Shout out to Houston's Mayor John Whittemire, who told NBC the rats are the only ones enjoying it. Of course they are, man. They're loving that. That's probably some, like, you know, it's marijuana, man. They're going to be high. They're going to be loving it. No wonder they're eating it. They eat it, they get hungry, so they keep eating, and then they keep getting high and they keep eating. The mayor and law enforcement official have now decided to dispose of the evidence sooner to stop the rodents from getting their fix. To illustrate the problem, Houston's police chief, J. No Diaz, shout out to Chief J. No Diaz, pointed one piece of cocaine evidence from 96 that was still in the lockup. They've got cocaine in there since 96. The individual tied to the drugs pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 20 years in prison and has been released since then. He added that keeping the decades-old drug was not something that we can continue to do as professional police agency, probably because they are selling it on the black market. City officials said that 1.2 million pieces of evidence were being kept in a downtown evidence room, and at a second warehouse, the evidence includes hundreds of thousands of pounds of confiscated drugs. The city will destroy any drug-related collected before 2015 that is no longer needed to adjudicate a case. Under the previous protocol, evidence could only be destroyed if it came into the department's care prior to 2005. Peter Stout, the president of the Houston Forensic Science Center, said during a press conference that infestations targeting long dormant drug stashes are not a Houston-specific issue. This is a problem for property rooms everywhere in the country, he said. Rodents, bugs, fungus, all kinds of things love drugs. Crackheads, another one. Imagine having a crackhead living in your storage room. The department first became aware of the issue last October Stout said they tried to hire professional exterminators to deal with the problem, but the rodents' drug use had made them tough. They have had professional exterminators involved, but this is difficult getting these rodents out of there. I mean, think about it. They are addicted to drugs. They're going to try any other way to get back in that room, aren't they? The city also created a new position at the police station to help manage evidence. A senior attorney will work alongside the police to identify evidence that can be destroyed immediately after a trial or legal hearing concludes. Prosecutors informed the defense attorney representing clients with open drug cases about the rat infestation. According to Houston officials, only one open case has been affected by the drug-eating rats, according to the city. There we have it, drug-filled rats just invading police stations and other places, and wherever they keep their drugs. That is today's podcast episode. Hope you enjoyed it. As I said, do remember, if you fancy coming along to my show, Half Soaked, I forgot what it's called there, Half Soaked, at the Rik Mayall Comedy Festival in Droitwich, which is happening between May and June. Do come down. Mine is on Friday the 6th. Get your tickets while you can if you are in the UK. If you're abroad, I don't know. I've got listeners in the US, Russia, China. They're all over the place. They're everywhere. France, I'm hitting all the targets now. If you listen to this and you think, I really want to see this Lovdev Barpagas, I want to see his Half Soaked, so why not make a trip to the UK and you can see other historical sites? I mean, Droitwich is down the road from Warwick Castle and Shakespeare, Stratford-upon-Avon. Down the road, you can see that as well. So, yep, come along. Friday, 6th of June. Go on the website, book your tickets. I want sold out room. I want to see sold out in a couple of weeks. If you can't make it, don't worry about it. Hopefully, I will pull my finger out my ass and take this on tour. So if you want me to come to your city, let me know where it is. Send me a message. Share the podcast. I better go now because I've got to get high on coffee. Yep, like the drug-addicted rats. Yes, folks, I'll speak to you guys shortly next week, whenever that happens. Take care of yourselves. Ta-da now.